Today we're going to learn 3 simple ways to improve our influence. This is where our mental gauge is challenged. Hey everybody, Sheldon Loxenia here. It is so good to see you. Doesn't it feel good when someone remembers your name? I mean, not just remembering your name, but actually calling you by name, or someone you haven't seen in a while and then they address you by name. It does something to us, like it adds value to us. Or what about when someone is mindful of you, they're considerate of you, or they respect you? I think that makes us feel good. What about boundaries? I mean, the things that we put in place in our lives so that our character, our integrity is in check, especially if you're in a relationship, that your boundaries are set to such a degree that people trust you. Well, that's what we're going to look at today, and I'm going to thumb through some videos of mine that I have, and I'm going to commentate, as always, of what's happening mentally. And the 4 gauges that we look at are spiritual, physical, emotional, and mental gauge are those gauges that help us to balance out our life. And what that means is when certain things are running low, like if my mental gauge is running low, I'm going to forget people's names. I'm not going to be mindful of other people. I'm not going to keep my boundaries. So when it comes to the mental gauge, or how we think, we're going to need our thinking to be mindful of others, to set up or develop our boundaries, or to keep our boundaries, as well as to remember people's names. Now, these are people skills that we're all still developing, but I thought maybe we can learn and grow together in how we can be better in these 3 areas. Okay, so let's take a look.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So when I'm traveling, I try to remember even the flight attendants' names. I try my best. And they have name tags.
How are you? Sorry.
In fact, I saw one of them.
Are you?
And
I live here now with my husband.
Thank you.
I met her when she was in probably high school.
Wait, because last time I saw you, you were in...
And so for Heidi and I remember, we remember when she was in high school, and now she's in her, I believe, later 20s. But I remember her name because her name is Jasmine, and I remember saying, because she has so much energy, she's just like jazzy. So I call her Jazz, or Jazzy. That's kind of like her nickname. But even when we go to, so when you're remembering people's names, try to affiliate it with something. And there's a save method, and I'll put that up here so that you can remember what the save method is. When I go to the airports, one of the things I struggle with is when people crowd, the luggage area. But I have to be mindful of them, so I have to be very courteous and respectful.
Friend Sam Kapu.
One of my friends is a cool guy. But even this, when we're putting luggage in, to be mindful of other people that they have luggage too, and if people are standing, then we give up our seats. But in that case, there were a lot of seats. And then when going out, sometimes people are in the way. We have to say, excuse me, rather than, because some people, they'll just push, but that's okay. We can be the influencers.
Come on, Smiley, guess my age. I'm leaving it up to you.
So my friend's daughter was trying to guess my age.
If you guess, so you come pretty close.
It was a challenge between us.
Close?
So 35 she guessed. I think her eyesight is bad. I'm older than 45, so which was good. She went from 35 to 34 to 33.
He let you choose?
I was so thankful, and what I learned from my friend was he gave us a ride to our hotel, so he was being mindful of someone else. And I thought, man, that's the kind of influence I want to have, the kind of attitude I want to have, the kind of heart that I want to have is thinking of others. And so he gave us a ride to our hotel. And then being mindful of others is, how can we serve others and help, of course, with the bags and things like that. And we're in Seattle, so we're heading to our hotel. And even when we're traveling, just to have conversation and being mindful of other people, being respectful, remembering their names, they're not just his name and his wife's name, but his children's name. That's always tough because you're trying to remember like 4 names at one time. Even this, when you go to a hotel,
Good evening.
Be courteous to those who are there, or the person behind the counter, because they deal with all kinds of people.
Cool. Thank you. What's your name? David. I'm Sheldon. Sorry. Nice to meet you too. Thank you so much, David.
And I try to say their name again and again. That way I can remember. And sometimes you'll see them the next day and you can say, good morning, David, or whatever it is. It's tough when people look the same because then you don't know how to address, or you might address the wrong person.
We are going to the gym right now.
So now it's the next day, first thing in the morning, get a quick workout. And I went in there, and it's okay when there's no one in there. I mean, if there's someone in there, I like it when there's no one in there, but if there's someone in there, it's still okay. I think that's the selfish side of me. I just want it to myself. And then I'll start off, lightly jogging, walking, and then picking up the speed. But the reason why I do this is because mentally, when you run or when you exercise, it thins your blood. And then when you thin your blood, you can think clearer because now your blood is thin and it can get into the those thin capillaries and in the most intricate parts of your brain. You wipe down the areas that you worked at or that you were working out on at the gym because you're mindful of others. So even in that. And always hydrate. I couldn't get the thing to work, so I was stuck in the elevator for a little bit. And then people came on, so I was trying to be courteous to them too and being mindful of them, as well as having some of my boundaries, because when I'm in an elevator, if I'm traveling, doesn't matter if I'm with Heidi or not. If a woman comes on the elevator, I'll step off. I just don't want to be in an elevator alone by myself with another woman. Because I'm married, so it's not like something's gonna happen. It's just one of my boundaries. It's the principle and discipline of not being alone with another woman.
Where are you guys from?
And I'm actually close to being an introvert, so it takes a lot a lot out of me, and mentally it takes a lot of thinking for me to stir up conversation. So I'll try to do that on purpose, and they were from.
Sometimes it takes me a while just to get back to my room because one of my boundaries is not to be on an elevator and there's a woman on it. So
those people were, and I try to address even those who are taking good care of our rooms.
It's just one of my boundaries.
Those people were from Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. And so everything that I do, I try to do it with that kind of purpose of if I'm coming in contact with people, remember their names, and then with my boundaries. Everywhere I travel, I have to have my boundaries. It just keeps me in good check with my integrity, my character. Especially if I travel alone, I want to make sure that I know that I'm keeping my boundaries and I'm doing things that keep my integrity in check and my conscience clear. Also, when you're trying to remember people's names, it helps. It helps to, when we're remembering people's names, it does something to us mentally. It helps us mentally, and it keeps us sharp. As well as when you're being mindful of others, you're constantly thinking of others. And that, believe me, this is a tough one because I don't naturally think of others. I think of self. There are some people, they naturally think of others, and I wish I had that, but I gotta work at it. And I'm just being transparent with you. It's a tough thing. I gotta really, really push to think of others, but I want to do better in that area. So those three areas, remembering people's names, as well as being mindful of others, and then keeping your boundaries. Those three areas are great if you want to be a better influencer, and I think we together can learn. So if you want to put in the comments what you're learning in those three areas, or how you do, or how you, I guess how you improve in those areas, or what do you do concerning those three areas that gets you to be better at it. And also, if you want to, you can subscribe or hit the like button. That way we can stay connected. But I hope that today it was good for you, and because it's good for me. I continue to learn even when I watch my videos. But even talking with you, it helps me to learn. We just want to get better together. And as we get better together, the world gets better. So keep encouraging one another, stay motivated, never stop learning, and always stay creative.